Like, again, I hear you because not every player, every coach is gonna like every player. I
Right.
get you hear other players like Brandon Marshall can't stand this dude. He can't,
Right.
but he has a history with him.
Right.
So there's a history. There's more to it than that. But I wouldn't go off and say, look, he hates him. Of course he doesn't. Remember, there's players that came to Vegas
for
to
him,
play
for
Josh
him.
McDaniels. Myers could have went anywhere. Myers could have went anywhere to the top Super Bowl contenders if he wanted to. But he came here to play with McDaniels, and that speaks a lot, you know, about where you want to be, who you want to play for.
Yeah, respect Papa T. It's just a lot of people say that, and again, I probably defend him more than most.
Yeah,
because I do, because I like I believe in him. But if he sucks, we'll kick him to the curb. I'm holding him accountable just like everyone else. But I want to give him a shot.
I'm probably on the other side of the coin from you, Chris. Like, I mean, I even as far back as before last season, and shout out to Port Adelaide Raider because I know he's in here. Before we even hired a head coach, he was one of the top guys that on Port Adelaide Raiders' agenda for who he wanted in the door as a head coach. I remembered his time at Denver, and it wasn't pretty. It was bad. And a lot of, there's been former players who have spoken critically about his time there. So I for one, didn't really want him in the door. He's here now. I'm going to give him a fair shake. But like, for me, he hasn't proven it yet to me that he's a good head coach. And I think that's something we can all agree on.
I think
I'm saying yet. I mean, he still has time. I'm going to give him time. But, until proven otherwise, he hasn't proven to me personally he's a good head coach. But I'm hoping that can change with the draft, the moves they're making, and the youth movement moving forward can pan out in the long run. So I'm going to give him a chance, a fair chance.
I respect that. Now I respect that. Now he's not a McDaniels supporter, but you hear him. He's going to give it a chance, and he's going to let it play out. Now again,
no. I do support McDaniels because he's our head coach.
Okay, yeah.
I support him.
I like that.
He hasn't proven it to me.
We need more like that. We need more fans like that. That's what I'm saying. Because there's literally people that say they're Raider fans and they don't support McDaniels. I don't see how you can have it both ways. But that's just me.
I support.
I support him because it's like if he wins, then we win. Right?
Exactly.
I'm one of those guys. I support McDaniels week by week. I criticize and I give him his props week by week.
You can still support and criticize at the same time.
But it got to be on a week by week basis. As of right now, I mean, when it comes to McDaniels, I think he's so smart at being offensively when it comes to him being an offensive coordinator.
It showed last year.
Even
with the shitty season that Carr had compared to other years. Our offense was still ranked higher.
Yeah, our offense was still, but if you look at it before McDaniels, our offense was always like in those top 10 or top 15 offenses. If you always looked at it, it's just a bit our defense side of the ball that's really been our issue. Let's keep it. That's
going to be an issue. It continues to be our issue.
And it continues to be our issue. And sometimes we look at these offensive-minded coaches that we bring in, and we blame Josh McDaniels, or we blame these offensive-minded coaches for, this coach is not doing this right, this coach is not doing this right. But it's really who they hire in that defensive coordinator position. I think that's where the blame comes in that, because our defense is the main issue for this Raiders team. If we can get our defense together with a top 10 offense to be on the same level, I think us as a Raiders squad, we will be good. We will be able to win more games and get back to the playoffs on a consistent basis. But our problem is defense.
But to your point, is that McDaniels' fault, or is that the organization's fault with bad drafting and not developing?
When you become a head coach,
it's on you.
You have to.
I know it's on you. Yeah, that's what he inherited.
Yeah, they hire you to hire your staff.
Yeah,
and that's who at the time John Gruden had Paul Gunther, and then when we had Gus Bradley, and then now with Josh McDaniels, we had Patrick Graham. So if we could keep keep this coaching consistently and keep the players here too,
man.
Continuity has been our issue as well. And I'm one of the ones that I'm not a really big fan of Josh McDaniels, because I feel like it was better coaches out there at the time that we could have got that was better than Josh McDaniels. But he's here now, so I'm supporting it. Because me, I wanted a defensive coach instead of an offensive coach. I wanted a defensive coach. So for me, it's a little bit different, but I understand why they went with Josh McDaniels. I understand why they went with Dave Ziegler. And we just have to see it pan out. And I'm not trying to be patient, but I gotta be patient.
You have to be. You can't expect them to come in and inherit that defense and be good the next year.
I get that, but
how can we not be patient? We've been bad for decades.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it get to a point where if we can keep the same players under contract for more than at least 2 to 3 years to play together, this defense will be better. We always have moving parts on the defensive side of the ball, and we have to learn a new system every single year. Now we have our second year under Patrick Graham. Now it's time for us to keep this core around as long as possible. I mean, add a few veterans in there as well that's still a little bit in a prime and a little bit more athleticism to this defense. And then we'll be good. I think offensively we are set. You don't need to add anything else but depth to the offensive line when it comes to that. Running backs, if we could get Josh Jacobs good, we still have more depth there. We have depth at the wide receiver position. We have depth at the tight end position. I think we just need depth at the offensive line. Quarterback, we have depth there as well. But defensively, that's been our issue for the last 20, 25 years.